Guys, we live in exciting times because just about a year ago, there was no such thing as a light-duty half-ton diesel truck.
Not in our current market.
No, not in the USA. And now we're going to have 3, if not 4, including Nissan. And in this video, let's break down the specs of every light-duty half-ton diesel truck and see what's best and what's best for you. So Ford came out in 2018 with the F-150 Power Stroke. So let's start there.
Right.
So it's a 3-liter V6, and it's the rating is 250 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. When it was out there at first, it was the king of the hill, right?
Right. But there's an interesting thing about this engine. It does share components with the same engine that's used inside of the Land Rover and Range Rover products.
Yes.
And we actually tested those vehicles out before this came out.
Yeah, and it's actually a beefed-up version, according to Ford. So it's a little bit more durable because it's in a heavier vehicle.
Right.
And it's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission. But it's no longer the king, or actually, well, we haven't driven the Chevy and the new Ram.
Nope.
So this is all about specifications, pricing, and capability right now.
That's right.
But what about MPG?
It's impressive, actually. 22 MPG city, 30 highway, 25 combined. That is, I believe, the 2-wheel drive. And then the 4-wheel drive, 20, 25, 22 combined. These are really good numbers when you consider that this is not exactly a small truck.
Yeah, but now there is actually going to be 3 trucks with a 3-liter turbo diesel engine. So let's just kind of compare first on the power specs, okay? And then at the end, we'll hit the Nissan Titan XD because it's not really a heavy duty, right?
No, but it has, well, we'll cover that in a minute.
Yes. So GM is coming out with a 1500 series trucks. Actually, next week I'll be driving the Duramax Silverado for the first time.
Which is awesome. Now, that was delayed, wasn't it?
It was delayed slightly. They should be on sale in about August, September timeframe, so look for these trucks very soon. Also a 3-liter displacement, but now it's a straight 6. And of course, it's a Duramax brand engine. It's a GM design, internally built and designed. 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, the torque number is actually pretty impressive. But once again, just like the Ford product, 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, bear in mind that the 10-speed was developed working with Ford, although they have very different 10 speeds according to both companies.
MPG, we don't know yet on this truck. It's not quite rated yet. So before we do capability, let's look at what Ram has in store.
That's right. So Ram just announced that they are bringing back an all-new 3-liter V6 EcoDiesel. And it puts out 260 horsepower, and check this out, 480 pound-feet of torque. That is the most available amongst these 3. 8-speed automatic transmission, not a 10, and we don't know what their MPG numbers are yet.
Yes, so I'm going to use a red marker to circle among these 3 liters the best spec we discussed right now. So Ram currently stands as a spec, the torquiest engine. And
General Motors with the most horsepower.
General Motors, straight 6 with the most horsepower at 277, which is very impressive, actually.
Yes.
And right now, because we don't have other numbers,
Ford
Ford
leads.
is best at 30 mpg, but for a 2-wheel drive truck.
And that's highway.
Highway number, right. And for a 4-wheel drive, 25. So the other guys need to target that number.
That's right. So it's interesting to see that everybody kind of has their one thing that kind of puts them above the others, at least so far.
Yeah, so let's quickly look at the payload and towing numbers, as at least what we have so far.
Right.
9,700 pounds for the GM light-duty turbo diesels, 11,400 for the Ford F-150.
12,560 for the new Ram 1500 EcoDiesel.
Yes, wow. So I'll have to circle this because amongst the 3 liters,
That's a lot.
The real half-ton trucks, that's, first of all, that's a huge number.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend towing 12,500 pounds with your half-ton
With
anyway,
the half-ton?
but it's capable.
That is saying a lot. And there's a lot of questions behind that. We'll answer those in the future when we drive the truck.
Okay, pricing, really quick.
Yes.
Right, because we have some information on pricing, so we got to figure out which one is the most affordable. Which in this case, as far as the 3 trucks we just discussed, the Chevy comes in starting price at $42,385. The GMC Sierra is a little bit more. about $900, 43,285.
Now that tends to be the case usually with GMC being a little bit more expensive because usually a little bit more luxury or a little bit more in terms of product.
Yeah, and it's because it's not available as a two-door cab. Only a four-door extended cab or crew cab size trucks get the diesel. Ford recently announced XLT price, which is this, $46,255. So actually quite a bit more than the comparable Chevy.
That's significantly more.
Yeah.
But, it's also a question of how much more do you get, which we'll find out in the near future when he drives the truck. Now, all we have in terms of payload is Ford's maximum, which is 2,020 pounds.
Yeah, which is big for a half-ton truck.
Got to circle it because that's the maximum so far.
So right now that's the target. That's what the other guys gotta aim at, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna circle this price right now for the 3-liter trucks, for the 3-liter diesel. The 42,385 is the target.
So there's a lot that we don't know yet, but we now know at least where they're trying to concentrate their numbers because they have to be competitive. Is it time now for them to see the spoiler of this group?
Yeah. So Titan XD has been around for several years, and it has a beautiful 5-liter V8 Cummins.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty remarkable power plant. We both agree that it's quite good. This is a weird duck of a truck compared to, an F-250 or 2500.
It doesn't have a fully floating axle, which means, it doesn't have all the payload and the insane towing numbers, right?
Right, but when you compare it to these half-ton trucks, the numbers are pretty impressive. So let's have a look.
310 horsepower. So more than the 3 liters.
Right.
And 555 pound-feet of torque. Again, quite a bit more than the 3-liter truck. But they have more displacement, don't they?
A significant amount.
Yeah. So it seems to me, and I'm not an engineer, right, that current technology for the 3-liter, and they're pushing these engines hard.
Yes.
Just look at this, 480 pound-feet of torque in the 3-liter V6
that is a lot.
diesel, right? If some of those learnings and technologies were implemented, maybe not to the full extent, liter for liter, but the V8 Cummins could actually have over 400 horsepower and maybe over 700 pound-feet of torque.
I have a feeling that it can be dialed up to a high number, but we'll never know for sure until they actually do it.
No.
But let's talk about these other numbers because there's something very compelling about the Nissan Titan XD. Now, this is once again based on you guys who are interested in a diesel truck, but you don't want the full-blown heavy duty. And that is this, and that.
Yeah, so really interesting. So 12,830 pounds is maximum towing on a V8 Cummins Titan XD. But look at this. Not much different from a half-ton Ram, for example.
But it is still more.
Yes, it is still more. And what makes the Titan XD different is actually the frame. It has a more beefy, heavier frame. The truck, we've driven many of these. They actually are very solid on the road.
Yeah, to be fair, they really are.
And that's the benefit. So, yes, you could tow 12,500 or 12,800, but how comfortable are you towing it? So that's the key.
I mean, if they only put on heavy-duty axles, all of a sudden this would be a whole new thing.
Oh, yeah.
But you still can hold 2,490 pounds. That's a pretty decent payload number.
Yeah, it's way more than any other half-ton diesel.
Yep.
So that's really a good payload number. But the value proposition.
This is the bottom line here. And also keep in mind, Nissan's not selling a lot of these trucks. And I'm not saying they're giving them away, but I am saying that you could probably get a significant discount on these trucks. Now, this number is based on the two-wheel drive diesel regular cab.
Two-door. Yeah.
Two-door.
38,620, which is about 4,000 less than the cheapest Silverado diesel.
Right.
1,500. So that's a really good value for a diesel truck and a lot of capability that comes along with it.
I bet I can get 6,000 off this. I bet you I could.
Only on Sunday?
Well,
no, only
not here in
only
Colorado.
on Saturday.
Yes.
Only on Saturday. Well, here you go, guys. If you want the most horsepower in your light-duty diesel, currently that's GM.
Yeah.
The most torque, currently it's the Ram.
Yep.
And we haven't driven the Ram. That's coming up later this summer, August, September timeframe.
Cool.
Currently, Ford is still king on MPG for diesels.
And payload.
And payload king. And of course, price-wise, Chevrolet is going to come in very competitively on price.
Now, we want your opinions on these vehicles because I'm kind of curious to see which one you guys are looking forward to us driving or which one you've sort of said, you know what, this is the right truck regardless. So please let us know below.
And another interesting point about these trucks, if you take the GM trucks, they've developed and built their own engine and transmission.
Yep.
Maybe shared a little bit some components. Ford, same thing.
Yep.
Developed and built their own engine and transmission. Nissan had a different approach. They had the Cummins, which is a big brand name
Yep.
for diesel engines, and also Aisin transmission, which is a 6-speed.
And there's a whole story behind this engine and Ram, by the way, from the past, but you'll have to dig and find that one. We can't talk about it right now.
Yeah, Ram and Nissan, or maybe several companies, were looking at that engine, but Nissan ended up with it.
Indeed, they did.
And once again, go back to TFLtruck.com for more news, views, and all kinds of truck reviews.
We'll see you next time, guys.
We actually do real stuff with this.
We do. We're going to be testing all of this.